Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. I have to say this song is pretty sleepy, I would say. Hey Links, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, this song is kind of sleepy. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this track or if I'm gonna change it. Depends on how the album goes because it's 11 p.m. here and I'm tired and trying to keep up with the schedule I set myself. I am really not though. I'm looking there because I have my weekly schedule there and I have set up 5 streams a week. I'm barely doing 2. But yeah, I'm trying to stream when I feel like it, and yeah, try not to overwork myself because I'm doing a lot. You are now fully finished with your college project. That's cool. What was it? Wait, I'm suppose it was not the curve editor you posted on Discord. That was really cool, by the way. That was really cool. I have another project where I was working with curves, and I had a full-fledged curve editor that I made myself following Sebastian Lag's implementation. But I did not implement the torsion, like the rotating on the tangent axis that she did. That was very, very cool. Oh, it's a Metroidvania. That's great. I am really getting into Metroidvanias. Well, I have been playing a lot of Hollow Knight. You will know the game, I'm pretty sure. And I really enjoy that game. So I'm pretty faithful that your Metroidvania is actually good. I played a couple of your games. Maybe it's too much, but I played your Minecraft game. Perhaps even on stream, I'm not sure. And I remember your other game that you were working on, and they all seem pretty good. So I'm pretty confident in saying that it's probably something to be proud of. That's cool that you had it as a college project. Regarding my game dev instead, yeah, by the way, sorry for my hair, it's terrible today. I just arrived, came back home from the gym, had a quick dinner, and sat down here at my computer. So I did not have the time to shower. I am filthy right now. But yeah, that's for later. Also, if you're wondering why I have a beach towel on my chair, is because it's 30 degrees here, 30 degrees Celsius, which I'm guessing it's something around the 85. Yeah, let's see, 30 to Fahrenheit is 86. Wow, that was pretty close actually. So it's 85 Fahrenheit, 86 Fahrenheit. Well, at the moment not really, but during the day it gets to 30 degrees Celsius and it's fairly hot, so I don't want to destroy the chair, and so I have my beach towel. All the feedback from your colleagues was mostly positive. That's great. Again, if you want to share that, I keep on encouraging sharing things on Discord, because yeah, that would be cool. But if you share that, I would be very happy to try it. Not necessarily on stream. Like if you want me to try it on stream, I could do that in the next few days. But really, even just for trying it out myself, offline, if you would like to have me play that just for fun, I would say. Not that my me playing that means anything much, but yeah, that'd be great. You were gonna stream tonight, but Streamlabs wasn't having it, so you will do it tomorrow. Oh, that's great. I'm not. You are saying tonight, so I'm guessing we are in a fairly similar time zone. That's cool. That's cool. I have not seen you stream in a while, so I'm happy that you find the time to do that yourself. And if you don't mind, I might actually get in touch with you for something, I'll talk. If you don't mind, I will DM you later. So, about today, the game dev that we're doing today, and I've already eaten through 11 minutes. I'm probably not gonna go much past midnight 30. So yeah, about the game dev that we're doing today, I will show you that I am actually loading my Unity project, and it's loaded. Wow, that was the fastest Unity has loaded in a while. Yeah, so I've been tasked with remaking a hyper casual game this week. It's not for YouTube, it's not for I will come back to YouTube or something like that, but I've been tasked for basically a job interview with remaking a hyper casual mobile game, and I do feel like it's not the most exciting thing ever, but I also really have to do that. You have now 2 full weeks to myself, so you want to start streaming again. Oh, that's so cool. I really would love to have 2 full weeks for myself as well, but I really wish you the best for these 2 weeks, dude. Yeah, you probably earned them. I don't know much about you, but you probably earned them, so make the most out of them, dude. So yeah, what I have here, and I will show you the game I'm trying to recreate. For the moment, is just a very simple state machine. Because this actually, something I noticed, I have not played hyper casual games on my phone, I think in the last 4 years or something. And what I noticed is that they are a little more than state machines, like very basic state machines. So the game in particular, this game here, is by Voodoo. It's called Roof Rails. Let me go back here. It's called Roof Rails, and you might have seen like an ad on Instagram or something. So yeah, you have to run around. You can pick up pieces of this stick, I would say, this cylinder. The cylinder grows, and then you use it to like grind down these rails. And then yeah, the progress is not like the best. You're forced into losing some of your progress sometimes. But yeah, okay. And it's not like super impressive gameplay wise. Okay, yeah, it's kind of like this, and well, there's a very annoying ad every level. But yeah, so it's nothing too impressive. So it should be, I should be able to do it fairly quickly. I have until like Sunday to make it. And what you'll notice is that when you lose, then it will go, or you win, it will go to a win page. You can collect your reward. It shows you something that we don't care about, and then goes back to the title screen. So what I have here is actually a very basic state machine. It has a current state. Their states are menu, playing, paused, game lost, and game won. And then basically what it does, it has a trigger state function. It's basically the transition function between one state to the next. I'm gonna pass it the next state that the machine is gonna transition to, and basically based on the next state, I'm gonna invoke an event to notify any listeners, and then change the state. And if you give me a second, I will go and get the notebook on which I drew the state machine. Okay. So yeah, I was planning it earlier today, and I have it here. So basically, you see there's an entry point, there's the not playing state, playing, paused, and you can toggle between played and paused, and then yeah, you have one lost, and then you go back to not playing. And it probably be mirrored, but you get an idea on what this is. Okay. So basically, then I have here a UI manager. I have some debug controls that allow me to switch between states. Okay, so I can go menu, play, one lost and paused. Basically, if I press play, I will go to pause. I can press pause, resume, and then if I lose, I can go back to the main menu, and if I win, I can go back to the main menu as well, and that it's done through a coroutine with the fading of the screen, so you don't really see like the resetting. And that's basically what I've done today in 30 minutes. And what I need to do now is actually get a sense of where the camera is, maybe reset it. Well, I can do reset transform. Do something like this perhaps. And then we can create a plane. Okay, yeah. I can create a plane. Let's go to materials and make it white. I have no idea why the default Unity material is this ugly gray, but it is. And white, let's go white. So yeah, it's very ugly, but at least we can make it not ugly by making it white. 0, 0, 0. Okay. And then we can scale it up on this axis. And this looks like what we need for now, for the moment. Let me hide all of these. And so what I was thinking here, oh sure, you cannot see anything. Again, I was doing the same mistake. I just added a white plane here. And what I was thinking here, I was taking notes earlier today about what I had to do. Seeing how the game is played, I was thinking, okay, let's make a character that probably like a our usual red bean or something. So 0, 0, and 0. Let's bring the main camera back a little bit. Okay, so let's set it to 1 here. And we can get close to it. Let's make a red material. Red. It's more like dark orange, between dark orange and red, but yeah, you get it. So my first thought was I should move this red bean, like the player, and I should move it on the x-axis with my finger and on the y-axis automatically. But that does pose a little problem. Like, I have no idea what to do with it. Like, how do I get it to grind down the rails? How do I make sure that the forces applied are always correct? Because I'm probably gonna make it physics based and anything. Now I was thinking I can probably just make the word move and not the bean. So the bean is staying still and it's only moving on the y-axis due to the gravity. So let's try something out. Oh yeah. No, why did I skip it? It was nice. That was a nice song. Can I go back to that song? Come on. Now we're re-listening to that song. Okay. Okay. So, what I want to do here is try something out. So, let's create a cylinder. Oh shit. Okay, let's create a cylinder here. Cylinder here, like this. The cylinder is going to be, and let's call it rail. Let's rotate the cylinder on the x-axis like this, and let's make it smaller and longer like this. Okay, great. We have one here and we have one here. We could actually make them even smaller and longer. Okay, great. Okay, so let's try with things. I have some experiments I want to make. So the first one is actually give another cylinder to this thing here, rotate it on the x-axis like this, should be 90 degrees. Yeah, great. Make it smaller. Oh shit, longer. Sorry, I don't want to curse too much, but yeah, it do be like that sometimes. Okay, so like this. And what I want to do is give our capsule a rigid body. Freeze the rotation of it. And let's see what happens if I drop this from here. Let's see. Let me disable this camera and move this camera here like this so that we see what happens. I have not been playing with physics for a long time. Okay, this stays pretty put, so let's try. Let's try and now if I were to change, like to disable the rotation, like to enable the rotation here, it would go like that, and it makes sense that it would go like that. What I want to do instead is create a new physics material. Let's see, physics material, and let's call it no friction. Give it 0 friction and assign this to both the rails and the cylinder. No like physics material here. Now it should slide down. Am I right in expecting that? Yes. Okay, so if this could working. Oh, you were just about to suggest that. Yeah, I have not been playing with physics for a long time, and this game is pretty much, I feel it might be physics based by the behavior of it, so I might learn a thing or two doing this. I think that's how the game is done. I think there's not much more to it. And what I want to see is what happens if I take the capsule here and move it here. Okay, the game is running, so it's probably not the best now, but if I take this and make this larger and move the capsule back, this should make the bean fall. Like, it should not be able to balance even if I'm like this close. If that's the case, I think I'm done with that. Let's see. Okay, no. We need to change that, but I'm probably gonna do that with triggers. So yeah, I have not recorded much footage of the game itself, and I really don't plan to. But what I did here was try out a few things. And basically what happens here is, I will show that to the camera. Like, I think that when it goes there, like, I'm not moving the character, I'm just moving the map around it. So the character stays in the same position and just falls down on the y-axis, and I can move it, like, I can maybe move it on the X and Z, but I will see about that. And it just falls, and when it's grounded it has an animation, and when it's not grounded it has another one. So yeah, I think this is how it goes. And what I noticed is that, well, like playing, I will not play, well, I could try and play it now. Oh. Okay, it's pretty hard to play. Well, it's not really that hard to play this game at all, so yeah. What I just want to notice is that if I go like this with only one piece of rail, that was not appropriate. Okay, with just only one of the two rails colliding with my cylinder, I can probably just have 3 triggers. One on the left rail here, one on the, well, this is the right rail, but yeah, one on here, and one in the middle, and just have them like detect whether the player is actually colliding with it or not. Or I could have I could also have like a trigger on this side of the of whatever you would call this, like the pole, another trigger on this side, and then if I'm not grounded, I just need to have those both be triggered at the same time. I feel like that is the easiest way for me to approach this. Yeah, I would feel like that. So that is pretty much done, I would say. Okay, that's figured out. Now what I want to do now, the second thing I need to plan out. So let me sketch this down. Well, you know what, I'll be using let's do it like this. Let's go to Visual Studio, let's go to assets here, add new file, and let's say notes.txt, and say movement. The player stands still, the word moves around it, the player only falls on the vertical axis, along the vertical axis due to gravity. Rail grinding, triggers on both sides of the pole to detect the rails, when not grounded. Both triggers have to detect a rail, perhaps a few invincibility frames due to physics unreliableness. Yeah, because you can never trust physics simulation in a delta time environment. So we do not want to have the player die, like lose the game, if that's not like actually do. So we probably have one trigger, wait for a few frames. If the other trigger is not triggered, then we lose. Now let's get to the visual side of things. What you can notice in the video here, and I'll go back to full count for this, is that, okay, here it can be seen when I pick up the pole pieces, basically my pole grows. And there are a few ways that I think you could do that. And the first way you could do that, let me see. Yeah. So, the first and probably most, I would say beginner, but not in a demeaning way. The most naive way you could do that is add, like, have a fixed size child object and like append the multiple children from a pool to the main cylinder, like at the side. But that would require the instantiation of a lot of meshes, so a lot of memory that goes out the window for that. Then we have two other ways that are probably better. One is just scaling it out, and that will require calculating what the relative scale is every time, but I think that's doable. And then the procedural way, which is basically just regenerating the mesh every time you pick up or lose length. And I think that would be a pretty interesting approach, but not the optimal one. So what I'll try to do is the scaling one, but first I wanted to make another thing, which is the banded effect, like the glow effect on the pole when it grows, because that's part of the game too. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be judged on that too. So here I do not have a sprite for some reason. So let's go and download that very quick. Let me open Steam because I have the sprite, the Steam installation bot. Okay, let me install it real quick. Oh, it's just 51 megabytes. It's super cool. Okay, it should take a few seconds. Okay, it's done. Oh my god, is there like preferences? Is there like a dark theme for, okay, theme. Okay, I will do that in another moment. Okay, new file, and let's do some shader work. So 32 by 32 is alright. And what I want to do here is actually just select a few colors. So I think we could go with this. Let's move it here. So the base color for our pole will be this. And then let's make it a few lighter variants of this color, like shades, I would say. I guess you would say shades. Yeah, let's do something like this. I don't think the this shouldn't take too long. I'm done. Yeah, I have never seen an app this light. Like 56 megabytes is like lighter than what the default empty scene from Unity exports do. So yeah, that was pretty fast in downloading. So we don't really have to have the same effect. And let me change the scene to save the file, because I know I should not leak my entire file system. Art. Full texture. And okay, so we now have a folder. We don't really have to rebuild the same effect, and I kind of thought of a way to do this, and I have it here sketched out. So we're gonna have the banded texture here, and what we'll do is have 2 points, one for the base of the cylinder. Oh, we have to also rebuild the cylinder in Blender to make sure it works correctly. So let's do it first. Let's do that first. Let's go to Blender. Let's go to Blender. Let's create a cylinder here. Okay. And what I want to do here is actually just, okay, R, really like this, apply all transforms, and well, I could have made it a little bit less, a little more low poly, I guess. Cylinder doesn't really need 32, let's just make it 12 faces. Shade smooth. Okay, yeah, this should be enough, honestly. I don't think you need really 32 faces. Let's see how it looks if I inset this a little bit. A little better, I would say. And oh, I also want to, great, cut it down the middle. Now let's rotate it on the y-axis like this, and this is gonna be our base cylinder. But what I want to do here is actually go here and so let's see how this works. Okay, so this side here, what I want to do is Z solid. Let's do it like this. Z wireframe. Select all, 1, U. Project from view bounds like this. Great. And then what I want to do here is just move everything to the right and move these to 0. So we're gonna have the center of the cylinder have a UV coordinate of 0, and the sides have a UV coordinate of 1. And that's gonna allow us to allow me to have the effect propagate outwards, I would say. Hi Akozo, how are you doing? I know this is pretty mind-blowing stuff, but I will explain to you why this I've been tasked for a job interview to remake a hyper-casual game. That's not the most exciting thing ever, but it's fun to think about. I didn't really want to do it today, so I'm taking this opportunity. How have you been doing? It's been a while since I've been keeping up with the community, so how are you? Thank you for tuning in, by the way. Okay, so I need to go to my Unity project and save it. Okay, the music is starting to lag. I don't like this. I need to find a way to optimize. Let me export it as in FBX. Export FBX. Hey, nice. Gotta love the hyper-casual genre. Do we? Do we really have to love that? I am not, like, I know I'm applying for this job, so there's something cool about it, but I'm not that sure I love it all that much. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be making an actual game, but it's a pretty cool. I think there's something cool about it, like being able to come up with a lot of different ideas, trying to see what's going on in the market, evolve your ideas around that, like do a lot of brainstorming. It's probably a very mentally stimulating but also very mentally draining environment, I would say. Let's call it cylinder UV fixed cylinder. Okay, and the FBX has been exported. I can go back to Unity. Great. Now we have this here. Now we can make it much larger, and let's try and make the shader graph. So shader, universal render pipeline, lit. Is it lit or unlit? I would say unlit shader graph. And let's call it pole banded pole. I have no idea what to call it. Create material. Let's give this material to that pole, and let's open the shader graph. And we played with shader graph the other day too, so we should be fine with that. Okay, so let's make the hierarchy very little, the inspector very little, the project window very little, and let's give some space to our shader graph. And now I should be showing everything. For once, I'm not just showing my face. And that's great. That's great. So let's try and start out with making a texture. So main texture. Let's drag it in. Let's save this asset. Let's give it this texture here. Now let's go here, create node, sample texture to D, like this, in base color. Save asset, and it is exactly as I was expecting, but what we need to do is go here and say, first of all, point filtering, because we want it to be sharp, and clamp wrap mode, so it's not going to it's not gonna loop around. Okay, now what I want to say is, I don't fucking remember. Okay, we're gonna use a step node. We're gonna have 2 points. So we're gonna let's try and figure this out like this. And let's say let's draw a small canvas. So I have, well, I have my UV map here, and I got my 4 color bands. Okay. I hope you can kind of see it. Yeah, I hope so. Now, we have here 0, and we have here 1. And you will say, wow, this is new. It actually looks kind of tasty. You know what it looks like? We don't have those sweets here in Italy. Well, I've never seen them. But it kind of looks like the candy corn that everybody likes to hate on. Like, this gives me... this cylinder gives me Adventure Time, Candy Kingdom, or I don't know what's called, I don't remember, vibes. Like the candy corn, you will probably understand what I mean. You probably know them better. I have never even saw them in real life, but candy corn, I should not be looking up things on stream. Like, yeah, it kind of gives me these vibes. Now that you make me think about it. Yeah. That's what you saw. Okay, you've never had, but yeah, it looks like candy corn. Exactly, you never had them either. Okay, I just know people love to hate them. They might be super sour or something. I have no idea. Really big fan. Thank you for YouTube. Well, okay. Again, like every time, I'm probably gonna butcher your name in pronunciation, but Sudarshan, thank you so much for saying that. Love to you too from Italy, and yeah, thank you for being a fan. Thank you for... well, I'm glad my tutorials were useful to you. Now, where is A sprite? Here. Okay, what I was thinking is that I should have an A and B value that basically are going to represent what I'm gonna, like, an override for the coordinates of the center and the coordinates of the like the sides. So I could say center chord and side chord, and then have a step node or something to decide whether I want to show this or this. I don't know if that makes any sense, actually. Okay, so let's see. It made sense when I was thinking about it earlier today. So let's just try and make it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, so float, center chords. Your pronounce correct. Okay, that's great. Oh, thank you. My hair is actually really filthy at the moment. I've not showered after the gym. I came right here to the stream, but I really appreciate that. I like to play with my hair a lot. Even though I'm in a repeating phase right now, I basically have the same hair I had last year at this time. But I like to play around with it, so thank you, I appreciate that comment. Okay, so we have the center chord and the side chord, and these two are gonna be a slider. This one is gonna be defaulted as 0, and this one is also going to be defaulted as 1. So slider, default 1. Okay, so let's save. And this material should now have 2 sliders. Now, what do I want to do? Is probably take the UV node, create node, UV, and the UV, and I just care about the X value, so split So I just care about the X value of the UV. I cannot. Okay, okay, great. And this one is going to be maybe clamped. Should we maybe lerp? I have no idea what I want to do here. So let's try and say like lerp A, lerp B, T. Okay. But offset. So basically, what we are making here is actually try and have the X value of our UVs be clamped between A and B. So this is always gonna be from 0 to 1 because we made the model like that, and UVs, well, not necessarily be from 0 to 1, but for our in this case they are. And you will see that we can clamp that like this. Okay. And also like this. So bringing this down, we're gonna bring the 1 this. So let's make this 0 again. Let's make it 1. Now we don't need this preview node anymore. So let me delete it. We are actually going to need this vector 2, the y value. The x is going to be this thing here. Why is this an inverse lerp? I need a lerp, not an inverse lerp. Wait. Create node lerp. Does it change anything? Center chord, side chord, R. No, I have no idea why that is an inverse lerp. Okay. Let me try and change this again if this... Oh, I actually wanted the inverse lerp. Or did I? You know what? The inverse lerp actually looks exactly like what I wanted. This is... Okay, this is a lucky accident, I would say. Well, how does Bob Ross say? I don't remember. A happy accident. This is exactly what I needed. So, let's bring it here like this. Let's give it the default texture like the one that we made here, so we can see it. But now if we save this and we move it, we should not have the thing anymore. So 1. Okay, the 1 doesn't really look right. But if I bring this to... Okay, we need to fix something here with the 0 and 0. But now what I can do is bring this up to 1, bring these up to 1, and then bring them both to 0 again, and we should have the effect that we wanted. So let's see how to fix that. So that color is... What color is it? Is it the second one? Can I zoom on this? No. Okay, great. That color looks really nothing like any of the colors I have here. What happens if I set this like to 0? Okay, it fucks up. Okay. So I could take these two and saturate both of them. Saturate in like this. So I'm sure they never exceed 0 or 1. So saturate. But the range, the slider in the inspector should not make them exceed either, so the problem should remain. Yeah, okay. What color does it look like to you? Because it looks like a mixture of colors actually. I'm not sure. Let's try with the lerp, just for curiosity. Let's see what happens if we use the lerp instead. Okay, like this. Okay, this looks better actually. Okay, great. So we can start by having everything down to 1, like up to 1. We can okay, this looks more like what I wrote here. So set A to 1 and B to 1, then bring A down to 0, then bring B down to 0, and then set both of them to 1 again, like pam pam. Okay. Or I can even boom, and then this is super cool. So both to 1, A to 0, B to 0, A to 1, and B to 1. Let's try and make a script that does exactly that. So let's save this asset and close the tab. Let's rebuild our layout because that was really messed up. Okay, maybe this one can be a little bit smaller. And let's call it Pole Shader, Pole Material Controller. Well, Anako, I really appreciate you liking that. I'm trying to remake a simple effect from an hypercasual game that I have been tasked to remaking. And I think this is a pretty cool way of doing that. I'm not sure that's exactly what the game does, but I'm pretty sure, like, this looks pretty good. So let's try and do this. So let's serialize field private float, and let's call it slider duration, something like that. Slider duration in, let's say, is equal to 0.25f for starters. Now let's say another 2, serialize field private string, and let's say center chord prop name. Well, and side chord, like, okay, something like that. Set me. Okay. And now I think, well, serialize field private I think we can actually say here sorry about the music private mesh renderer mesh render. Okay. In start, we'll just get the mesh render, or we could even say it's serialized field and set it manually, so to avoid that call. And then update if input dot get key down alpha, I'm gonna say alpha 0, and let's say do effect, something like that. Do flash effect, private void do flash effect, and this is just gonna start the private void flash effect core routine, and let's call this not void but enumerator. Okay, we're getting there. It's really a matter of seconds right now. So what do we want to do? It's say start coroutine flash effect coroutine here, and that is done. And here what we want to do is say float a is equal to 1, b is equal to 1, and say first of all mesh render dot material dot set float center core prop name a, and here side core prop name b. Now what we want to do is say float t is equal to 0 while t is less or equal than the slider duration. What we want to do is like t plus equal time dot delta time yield return new real return null, and this is going to go and iterate over time. And here we want to say a is equal mataf dot lerp 1 0 t over slider duration. Okay, and also let's say like this is going to be the thing. Now after this we are bringing a down to 0. After this we're going to bring b down to 0, so b is equal to this b, and this is gonna be side chord prop name. Okay, now we brought them down to 0, and now we wanna do the same thing here but bringing them back to 1. So here instead of doing 1 0, let's do 0 1 0 1, and this should be all. Actually, let's see how it looks. So I linked it up to the 0 button on my keyboard. Let's see how this works. So let's assign the mesh render and see. I will probably have some issues with the, well, let me set the camera like this. I will probably have some problems because I'm using the material. I should use the shared material. I have no idea, I don't remember. Let's press 0 and nothing is happening. So let's try and debug this. So debug.log pressed 0. I just got here and get bombarded with while loops. Hi Andrew, how are you doing? How are you doing? I saw your video on the playdate. It was edited like crazy. I really enjoyed it. It was really cool, dude. I know I left a comment saying this, but dude, that was really cool. And these while loops here are because I am animating a shader property, so I do have to do that, unfortunately. Let's see if the 0 thing is going through. Okay, 0 is being pressed. So that is not a problem. Then what is the problem? Cylinder here. No, oh, no, not this cylinder here. A UV fixed cylinder. Maybe it's not a thing of material, but I should say materials dot 0. Or perhaps I just need to assign the material instead of the mesh renderer. I have not done this in a while, so I don't really remember. Let's see if this works. Come on, Unity, you can do it. Doesn't really look like anything is happening right now. Art. If I press this, oh, I know what it is. I have not set the core, like, okay, so this is probably correct if I do it like this. But what I need to do is, I'm pretty dumb here. Yeah, I could probably do that. For the moment, it's just testing. I should probably cache it at the start. And you're right with that. But what I need to do here is go back into the shader editor and copy this to, okay, so here, center chord. Let's call it like this. And here is going to be side chord. Save the asset. I did not set the well, I was setting the things, but I did not remember to set the variables that I gave a value set me to to start with. So yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, 0. Okay, it's working. Okay. Okay, now I pressed it a lot of times, so it's making a mess. But it's actually working pretty good. So let me try and say it's a bit slower. Like, let's see 0.4, and let's increase the size of this, like this. This is pretty cool. I think this actually, well, 0.4 might be too much, but the effect, yeah, let's bring this down. Maybe even less than 0.5. Let's make it 0.15. No, this is too little. 0.3. Okay. Okay, yeah, that looks sort of alright. And Yukari, it's good to see you trying to make simple games. Well, I've been tasked. Well, I have repeated this, so let's try to find out different words to say the same things. I've been, I have received a job offer, and I would be making hypercasual games. That I'm not like the biggest fan of hypercasual games, but there's something to learn in that industry. So I've been tasked with remaking an already existing hypercasual game in a week as a skill test by the employer, as a part of the process of the interviews and everything. I'm also choosing a new track, like soundtrack. Okay, great. And so I need to remake this game. I'll show you the game. Well, excuse me, it's not maybe the most professional way of doing this. But yeah, so the game is this. Okay. And what I'm doing is this, basically. Yeah. And as you can see, when the white cylinder grows, it has some kind of banding effect. So this is not really the same I'm doing. What you can notice in the video, if you even can see anything, is that it actually goes by the correct increments. But I think this is good enough, honestly. Be careful with what? You mean with the hyper-casual games? Yeah, I need to be super careful with that. I am afraid it's going to be a very like mentally tasking and draining job. But for the moment, I'm just like auditioning for it, and we'll see where it goes. I have until I need to send in the material, like what the finished product by Monday. So yeah, I will see what it goes. You've seen studios that pump out those kind of tons of hyper-casual games, and what they do is get people to do spec work for them or get people to create a game. Well, this is actually very honest, I would say, on part of the employer, because this is an already existing game. So I'm remaking one of their, I would say, already successful games. So I would say I do agree. I would be careful with that in that term. But first of all, well, I'm not disclosing the name yet. I will be if I end up taking the job. But it's too big of a studio to it's too big of a name to probably afford doing that, first of all. And second, I feel it's kind of having me remake one of their game and not just come up with a new idea and make a game for them. I feel like it's fair point. That happened to a friend. Well, sorry, by the way. Hi Sophia, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's the same shirt, but I have not changed since the gym, so yeah, I am actually disgusting. And you had this happened to a friend of yours who was applying for a job working on Dr. Panda games, and he created a mini game where the player had to organize trash in colored bins. They ended up not hiring him, but used this work in the final mobile game. That sucks. Okay, that sucks. I have no idea what Dr. Panda is, so let me look for it very quick. Dr. Panda games. Oh, it's a... Well, the website looks like they're pretty big. Just having this animation in the website, they look pretty big. They have a lot of games. Okay, I see. For how wholesome they present themselves, it's a very scummy behavior. And update what am I talking about? Yeah, I am in the process of going through interviews. So I had like the new studio director of the studio that's opening in Milan contact me via LinkedIn. I responded. I did a screening with a guy in the UK. I apparently I made a very good impression. So then I had an interview with the guy from the studio, like the studio director. And now I have this test, like this skill test. I have to remake this game in a week. And yeah, so that's basically what my last few days have been about. Hyper-casual games like money-making machine but legal way. Okay, so Yukari, I'm gonna talk about that for a minute. Yeah. It's kind of like that, but it's not like the dream. Like, that sounds very good. It's something that sounds very, very good. The problem with that is that you have to have a huge presence in the market. Like, the ones that are making money are the ones that are making money. I know that sounds silly, but I tried making not really hyper casual, but I would say casual games. Hyper casual was not really a thing, like a word yet in 2018, but I was trying. I tried making a couple of them. Unless you are one of the big ones, you are not going to make that much money because you need to have data. The hyper casual market is very data driven. You're going to need the most data you can gather from all sources and build a game that is like described by that data. And unless you work with a very big publisher that has access to that data, you're probably not going to make money. So yeah, it's a big money making machine. I think Voodoo, you all know Voodoo. They are the second largest mobile publisher in a number of downloads after Google. They ended 2021 with around 5 billion downloads on the app stores, and they are 5 point something, and they are already at 6, and they plan to go for 7 by the end of this year. So it's crazy. And yeah, so they're a big money making machine, but you first of all need to have a lot of money for ads, like, and promoting your games and promoting the always newer games. Second of all, you need money or access to the data to actually drive you into making the games that actually make you the money we're talking about. So it's very, I understand it's very disillusioned. Like, yeah, it would be great to wake up, make a game in a week, and then make $1 million. But it's not that easy. I'm not saying you cannot do that, but you should consider a pretty major investment. Maybe make a few games, have them cross ad to each other, show one of them on Instagram, Facebook, or I have no idea, maybe rely onto an ad provider or something like that. There is more to it than meets the eye. So yeah, basically this is the story of why I'm making this game. I will catch you up to speed since you just you can make few and put to the store while making your main job. Yeah, okay, that's something that you can really do it. You could do it. Like, this of course takes a lot less. Let me go back to the Unity scene. This takes a lot less effort than making a game. I don't know, like my game, the one that is kind of abandoned right now, but it's never abandoned in my heart, like Last Day of Summer, or making an indie game. It's gonna take a lot more effort. So yeah, this is a lightweight version of that. So you can make a few, keep making them as a hobby, putting them in the store, but you're gonna need to advertise them, and they are going to need to be like the right games, like targeted to when you're publishing them, because hyper casual games come and go in a matter of weeks, days even. And there are tens and hundreds being published every day. So yeah, you could make a salary from that. But like, it's nothing that is to be taken for granted. Though I agree with you that that's something that is possible. It's also pretty difficult to like come out on top in this market. Maybe with an NFT you can do it. That you press a button with me, because I am very not pro blockchain or anything like that. I'm not a huge fan of the blockchain. I'm not a huge fan of NFTs. And well, if you want to make a pump and dump and scam NFT bros, we could argue that's not really ethical. That's not. I am not saying I despise you for that. But I am very much against blockchain gaming and what that could do. Apart from all the like the very I would say the issues with blockchains in general. That is, as you would know, environmental issues, the fact that it does not scale, the fact that it's basically going backwards in terms of performance compared to what we have today. And I do not believe there is actually a very large place for how things are today for Web3 in general. But yeah. So that was, I hope I didn't kill the vibe with that. The NFTs have shown to be a great way to make a quick buck, but I'm not a fan of those. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, so this is our shader. And I think you could probably also, like, calculate this. No, I don't know. Yeah, this looks whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, yeah, this looks like it's exactly what we want. Yeah, I like this. Great. Okay, so we have our player that is sliding down. Well, I could make this better and, like, instead of using this material, let's see if this works as well. Also, they tasked me with remaking the gameplay, so this material stuff is completely accessory to what I actually need to accomplish. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna worry about too much of this gameplay at midnight 30. I really don't want to bother with it. Let's see if the material actually works. So if I... Oh yeah, I really like this song. Okay, yeah, it works. I'm probably gonna just use the material. I'm not gonna have many instances of this. So yeah. And what I can do here is now... And let's say mesh collider. Great. Let's disable this. And let's give it the physics material that we built earlier. And let's see if this goes down as well. Oh. Yeah, it works. Great. I was asking something and saying something. If I bother... Oh, dude, don't worry. You didn't bother me at all. And I don't want to think... I don't want you to think that I got, like, annoyed at that. It's just something that I went through. And what happens is that a lot of the people that come to my tutorials... And it's something I've been seeing in the last couple of years. That a lot of people... get into game dev because they think there is an easy bug there to be made, like you can, it's like a get rich quick thing. And so when I hear or read people say it's a money making machine, I don't want you, not you in specifically, but you in general, I don't want people to like think that's like I give up on everything and do this. Like, I don't want people to give up on something that they might cultivate just because they see a money opportunity and get recklessly into it. So I am sorry if I came across like I was annoyed at your comment. I actually, the reason I responded so passionately is because I thought that would be easy money too. When I tried in 2018, I was like, yeah, let's make a game easy, let's make a lot of money easy. But That was not the case for me, and that is not the case for a lot of people around the world at all times. So I just wanted to make that clear. You did not bother me, you did not trigger me. I'm just really passionate about this topic because it's something I went through, and I want to make clear, just to make clear that it's gonna be a lot of work either way, even though these are games that are apparently simpler to make. Though I do agree, there is a lot of hyper casual games that are being pumped out. I picked up Voodoo as an example earlier. Oh, fuck. Let's say games here. They have games with a lot of downloads. Like, you see, Helix Jump. I remember playing this like in high school. There are a lot of downloads to be made here in this market. But yeah, they get this number of downloads because they have a huge audience to like appeal to. Maybe you see a video of a YouTuber saying, "Oh, how my game got like 500,000 downloads." That's happening because they have an audience to let their game grow. But when I was making, as an 18-year-old, I was trying to make hyper casual games. I did not have that, so of course I did not get. I got like 500 downloads in the first month. But yeah, I love what you do because you do it with passion, and it shows. Well, I really appreciate that, Anako. I try to do things that I enjoy and that I'm passionate about, and that's the reason why I kind of stopped lately, because I was sucked dry of my passion for game dev by having to scale down my project. It kept growing out of scope, and so yeah. But I'm finding a lot of inspiration and motivation back lately, so yeah, that's why I'm gradually coming back. So, we didn't really do much in terms of quantity, but I've got like, I've got some notes down on what I want the movement to be. I've got my notes here. Let me go back to this scene. I got my notes here from earlier today. I will do a summary. So, I am trying to remake an indie, like not an indie game, but an hyper casual game that's on the App Store and the Play Store in a week. That I'm doing for a job interview that I have. What I did today in about 30 minutes is I implemented the game state machine, because if you play the hyper casual games, you will notice that most of them have the same exact game flow, which is easily represented by a state machine. And I don't want to have you be nosy and nauseous. I don't want you to get nausea by me keeping on changing scenes, but I want to share the state machine. So here, let me get OBS. You probably see it flipped, but we got an entry point, and we got the menu state. Then we have the play state, the pause state, event, like in case we want to pause the game, and we can toggle between the two. And then the play state can go either to lost or won. And from these we can go back to the menu state and start again. So what this is a finite state machine, and this actually represents our main game loop, like the program, I would say life cycle. And what I did here is just implement that exactly. So for the moment I do not have an update loop here in the game state machine, but what I have is a current state and the method to change the current state, like to transition to another state. You could probably have it more complex. My simple implementation here only wants us to input a next state, and based on the next state we're gonna change to to that state and invoke events that are gonna be listened to by other scripts. For example, the UI manager that shows here, you can see here I subscribe to the events on the game state machine, and based on that I will change what the visible UI is. Oh yeah. And here you can see, like, I'll show you very fast. Like, let me disable this camera. Let me bring back this camera here, even though, well, it's not really much important. So yeah, we start the game. Oh, right. Oh, you're right. So, well, basically, I always do this. The state machine is very simple here. I don't know what I show, what I shown. Yeah, I always do that. A few times ago, I did it for 30 minutes. At least today, you were here to help me figure this out. So let's go over it again. We have 5 states, and these are the ones that you saw in the drawing. And I have events for every state change, basically. And then here we have a current state that it identifies the current state of the machine. And then we have a function that I feed it at the next state I want to transition to. And based on what state I'm gonna transition towards, I'm gonna invoke one of the events and then set the current state. Basically, this is the basic implementation of the state machine. And for example, the UI manager listens to these events, and based on those, it switches what UI screen, like what HUD to show. And I also can play with coroutines and everything. I will show you right now. Like when I start the game, and here I did not show it yet, so I can play. And if I pick up the game manager here, you will have to squint your eyes a little bit because the UI is very little, but here you will see the current state is menu. If I hit play, it's gonna go to playing. I can pause and unpause the game, and I do not have win or lose conditions yet, but if I lose and I hit retry, fade back, menu, fade back in. Or if I win, same thing. And this is basically what I have. And then if I want to have the word to move, the player to move, or anything to happen, I'm just gonna have them, like the components and the classes, listen to the events, and that's gonna handle the game loop and everything. Yeah, you basically saved Sophia and Andrew. Thank you very much for saving me once again from me being not a professional streamer. And have a good night. I'm probably going to sleep soon. Yeah, too. I will remember. I will not have much chances to forget that anymore, I think. Thank you though. Have a good night. Then what we figured out today is that, as I said, I do not want to move the player because that's gonna add a lot of stuff on top of the physics that I really don't wanna bother with. So what I'm gonna do is keep the player fixed in its position and just move the word around it. So it's gonna look like the player is running, but actually it's the word that it's running relative to the player. And I'm gonna have the player fold though, because with like the grounded or not grounded status, I'm gonna determine whether the player is gonna stop, or whether the player is gonna ride basically on these rails. And I'm gonna have 2 triggers that I can actually just build now. Well, I will probably do it another time, like tomorrow. On the sides of the player to determine whether the player is actually grinding the rails with both triggers or only one, and to replicate this game, if the player is going to only be grinding with one trigger, it's gonna fail or not. And yeah, so that's basically what I planned out today. It was like an hour and a half. Pretty good. Not much done as always because I spent the most of my time talking. But I will say I'm pretty happy with what I got done. I didn't really want to get down to it today. And so this is a success for me. This said, thank you everyone. Okay, wait. First thing first. Go back here. Studio mode. Update the BRB screen. I need to get just different screens. I don't know why I keep doing this. Stream over. See you next time. Okay, so studio mode here. This said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, even for chatting a little bit. This was pretty fun. I actually got a lot more done than I thought I would, and that says a lot about how much I thought I would get done today. But this said, I'll probably be doing more Gamedev here live on Thursday. You can catch the Twitch stream tomorrow, same time. I'm going to do a Soul Link Nuzlocke with a friend of mine on Pokemon Platinum, I think. And if you want to support me, please drop a follow on, subscribe to the channel, drop a like to the video, and drop a follow on Twitch. The link is in the description. I would really appreciate that. I'm trying to grow my numbers on there, and that's something I really appreciate of you if you do that. Thank you for your live. It was great. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed talking with you and streaming in general. See ya.